Okay, hi. I'm Emma, and welcome to Mom to Mom interview with Gina. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Gina Horkey. A self-proclaimed married millennial mama to two precocious toddlers from Minnesota.
Excellent. And you blog and are a VA, and you are a freelance writer.
Yes, I have a diversified online business at HorkeyHandbook.com. So Horkey is my last name. And we chose handbook because my husband is very handy. He could build a house from the ground up. And book was on the writing side of things for me. And it's interesting because I'm in the middle of a rebrand and
Mm-hmm.
we're seeing like how do we leverage that or do we need to change it? And I still kind of dig the handbook because this is a set of information that's going to teach you how to succeed.
And that definitely seems to be what you are providing now. So which job got you started?
So freelance writing was my first delve into online business. I had done some social blogging in my past using like the free version of Blogger way back when, 2010. So I can say that I've been blogging since 2010, although I hadn't started to get paid for it until 2014. It
Mm-hmm.
was actually tax day that year that I was kind of not fed up, but I was discontent in my career as a financial advisor and a support person for a large financial planning practice. So we had a large client base, but we were a real small firm in practice. And I just started looking into different things online, and freelance writing popped up, and it kind of just clicked in my head. I hadn't realized that there was an opportunity there before to work with clients writing more non or fiction or nonfiction. Yeah, I had it right the
Yeah.
first time. Work online. When I had imagined author or writer in the past, I'd kind of thought of like fiction books,
Yeah.
novels, or maybe nonfiction, physical copies of stuff. So the world of online media and publication kind of opened up to me on that day. And here we are.
Excellent. And then how soon after that did you start blogging?
So I started my website that next month. I think I launched it in May 2014.
Yeah.
I landed my first paid project within a month of that, and then kind of built my freelance writing business from there. It was September of that same year that I took on my first virtual assistant client.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of what gave me the confidence to put in my notice at work, and I left work behind around Christmas of 2014.
Wow. That's pretty
Yeah.
fast, actually.
It is. And I think that it's kind of a common theme with people that are really motivated and committed to
Yeah.
making that career change. Is they set a goal that's a little further out, and that wasn't any different for me. My goal was May 2015, so a year after I had started and to make traction,
Mm-hmm.
and I moved it up because I was able to see some really good progress. And then like once you gain momentum, things can really happen.
Yeah.
So I've seen that
Yeah.
a lot with other people as well.
Oh,
My situation was a little different though because I was a breadwinner for our family. I still am.
yeah.
So my husband's a stay-at-home dad to our two toddlers, and so there was a little bit of pressure. There still is, but things are
Yeah.
going well.
Oh, that's awesome. I love hearing about other dads who are breadwinners. That's sort of how I'm hoping to transition our family to when
Right.
the mom's making the money and the dad gets to be home.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good at that role. I never saw myself as a stay-at-home mom, although I'm glad that one of us is choosing to do that for our family. It's so much less busy than
Yes.
the dual income households. The friends of mine that have similar age children and they're both working and commuting and all of that craziness with life and
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Um, all right, so then you transition to doing some VA work, and do you specialize in a type of work?
Yeah, so email management is kind of my forte, which it kind of overlaps with customer service work, right?
Yeah.
So I go into my clients' emails. I have three right now. So I started with one, was referred to a second one, was referred to a third one, and I've been working with all of them ever since. And I kind of just drew on the experience that I had working as a support person in the office and just repurposed the skills that I knew that I had. So instead of being in person, I was able to offer them virtually. But what I actually do in email management is I'll pop in twice a day, typically once in the morning and once at the end of my workday. So kind of bookending it.
Yeah.
And I'll sort through all of their email, reply on their behalf as them. So kind of ghostwriting, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, and let me see if that's me being annoying and dinging on the computer first. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
So I'll just close down all of those windows real quick. And So I'm going into their email, I'm sorting through, I'm archiving stuff that's junk or doesn't need their attention, replying to things that I can, and then tagging things that they need to reply. So I feel like my gifts in this area is that I very much treat their business like I would my own. So I
Mm-hmm.
think to myself, like, what would I do in this situation? How would I handle this? And obviously there's some training involved in the beginning in order to make sure that I'm doing things the way that they would want and clarification and stuff like that. But I like it.
That sounds pretty cool. I mean, my email is always just exploding all over the place. So having somebody come in and take care of it sounds kind of like a dream.
Well, and I'm kind of one of those type A individuals that has inbox zero mostly covered on any given day of the week. So
Yeah.
if that's you, if you're a fairly organized individual and you achieve inbox zero on the regularly, which for people that don't know what that term means, just means that you've, responded to and dealt with all of the emails that are in your inbox, then that might be a good fit for you too. And the nice thing is I'm on a retainer with them, so the more
Yeah.
efficient that I've gotten over time, the more of a like pay raise I've been able to give myself, and it's pretty lucrative.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. So do you work from home or do you leave the house and go somewhere?
Nope, I work from home completely. I'm sitting in my now home office. This used to be a guest bedroom, and
Yeah.
one of the things that I did in the last few months was turn it into my home office. So if you can see behind me, I have a treadmill.
Yep.
That is a walking desk. So all we
Oh,
did
yeah.
was take one of those, I think it's called melamine boards,
Yep.
and then there's eye hooks on either side, and then little bungee cords. And so for less than $20, we just repurposed our treadmill.
That is great.
Yeah, the only downside is that magnetic strip that tells that the treadmill is on, or you take it out so your kids don't, get in trouble, sometimes interferes with my Wi-Fi connection. So I still have to figure that out, or at least just work on stuff that's offline.
Yeah.
My desk is actually in the closet. I'll
Oh.
show you if you can see
Yep.
that. And then we ended up getting a convertible sofa so that if we did have guests over.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
This is, newer. Now I have my own space, which is huge, although we travel quite a bit. So I work from the road a lot as well, whether we go up to my parents' cabin
Mm-hmm.
or down to Wade's folks. So both of those are like 2.5 hours away, or we're actually leaving this Sunday to go to Yellowstone, then to Salt Lake City, and then to Central Illinois. And we're from Minnesota. So that's a lot of driving.
Yeah.
But hot spots are your best friend. And I can actually work pretty well in the car, which
Yep.
is nice.
Yep. And so then your husband takes care of kids during the day while you work.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, but then every day from noon to 1, I'll stop and have lunch with them and then help lay them
Nice.
down for their naps. And then he's actually working on finishing our pole barn right now.
Mm-hmm.
So pole barn isn't a term that a lot of people know, I guess. We're very familiar with it here in Minnesota. It's just like an oversized barn.
Yeah.
A lot of people in our area will use it for storage, lawnmowers. We actually keep our truck in there. So he's making it into his own workspace because this fall, both of our kids will be in preschool 2 days a week. So he will have some free time and he might start his own little side hustle, which is exciting.
That is pretty exciting. Yeah, my two oldest will be in school this year, and I kind of don't know what I'll do. I mean, I'll still have one at home, but
How old is your youngest?
13 months.
Okay, so it's still really little.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this will be the first year both of ours will be in preschool, and Shelby just turned 3. Braxton's going to be 5, so he's a fall baby.
Yeah.
But they have morning and afternoon, and it's not by age in our area, so they could be in the same class, but we're not going to have them be. And then they have something called like kids club.
Mhm.
So like Shelby will go to preschool in the morning, and then they'll have lunch together, and then she'll be in kids club, and he'll start his day with kids club. They'll have lunch together, and then he goes to preschool.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they have
Yeah.
the same teacher, but get to be like independent and
Yep.
stuff. So
Yep.
it'll be weird not having them around though.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've experienced that.
Yes, it definitely it's a big transition. My 5-year-old is starting kindergarten this year, and it's full day here. So I know for him, he did like a couple of half days of preschool last year, but to go full time 5 days a week is going to be a big
Yeah.
change. Yeah.
I'm sure he'll thrive under it. The first couple of weeks will be transitional, but both of our kids still nap, so that's what they're actually
yeah.
doing right now. So we're kind of like hoping that it doesn't completely go away because they go to full days, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it'll be fine.
Yes.
So back to business.
Right,
stuff.
back
We
to
could probably
business.
talk kids all day. That's the beauty of online work though, and being like a webpreneur, I think, is this that flexibility and that freedom. Like there's times when I work really, really hard. Right now I'm redoing one of my courses, which I think we are going to talk about
Yes.
too. So when you talk about like work-life balance, I'm gonna write a post about this someday, but I haven't
Yeah.
yet. I think it's a fallacy. I go with Dave Ramsey's philosophy on it, which is that it all just falls into the bucket of life.
Yeah.
So you can't segment out your work, you can't segment out your home life. It's just sometimes work's going to demand more of Gina, and sometimes my family is going to demand more, and keeping enough of a go between is
Yeah.
the art and science of it, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's figuring out what you can let go of, I think. You
Hmm.
know, what's the important stuff that absolutely needs to get done in both sides.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's a hard thing to try to balance and get there and realize what needs to be done and what can kind of fall by the wayside.
That brings up a really good point. I think for a lot of people that might be watching, they might be trying to build either a side hustle on the side of their full-time job, or maybe while they have kids at home, like you're doing, right? And when you only have so much time, you really do have to focus in on what is going to provide the highest ROI or
Yeah.
return on investment. And when you're starting a new business, whether it be as a freelance writer, as a virtual assistant, or anything in between, I think you need to focus on prospecting, on marketing, right? If you don't have any clients, your first job is to get some clients. And
Yeah.
then after that, if you want to, work on blogging or setting up your website or working on your skills, like that can come with time too. It all doesn't, you don't have to figure it out right away.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. It's definitely a learning process. Speaking of which, you have a couple of courses that you offer.
I do. Yes.
And I went through and took your 5-day free courses on both. You have a VA course and a freelance writer course. You want to
Yes.
talk a little bit about them?
Sure. When I was starting my freelance writing business and trying to grow it, I took a lot of notes. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't living out the definition of insanity as far as like trying the same things and
Yeah.
expecting different results, which doesn't work out, obviously. So I would kind of take notes and figure out what worked for me. And then when I had gotten to a certain point, I realized I had like a blueprint of sorts. So that's what I ended up using as the basis of writing my first course, which was 30 Days or Less to Freelance Writing Success. Then it was about a year later that I wrote the VA one,
Mm-hmm.
and I revamped that one since, and I'm revamping the writing one for the third time, mainly because it's delivered via email right now. I'm moving it over to a courseware,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've just learned so much more. So I've gotten to really rework all of the material. It's more than double the content, and a lot of really great like trackers and tools and stuff that are included. So
Wow, that's really great. What program are you putting it onto?
Zippy Courses is the software. I we started our conversation saying I was technologically kind of cursed, and
Yeah.
I've explored almost all of the coursewares that are out there. I'm actually dealing kind of with that right now, but from what we've learned, it looks like a nice viable option, because students are definitely at the core of my concern and
Yeah.
passion, as well as I have a lot of affiliates. So I want to make sure the experience is just well rounded for all. But whenever I write new courses or new material, I really start with the audience in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're an aspiring writer or a virtual assistant, my material is not fluffy.
Yep.
I definitely give personal examples, but I want to teach you something, and then I want to give you the tools to immediately go and implement it. Because if you just want to learn and read, but you never do, it's not going to sink in, and you're not going to probably find the success that you want.
Right.
So that's always my goal, is what's the kind of brass tacks of what you need to know? How can I make it memorable by telling maybe a story? And then I'm going to give you some action steps. I'm really good at assigning homework.
That's great. And so is most of your course written material? Is it video, audio?
Yeah, most of it's written.
Yep.
I'm a writer, so that's the medium I like best. I've added some like introductory videos because I think it's good for people to get to know me. I think I'll expand on that in the future
Mm-hmm.
once I get, the new writing one solidified and ready to go. It'll just be something as I tweak and add over time. I don't mind video. It's just that I'm good at writing. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So who should take these courses? Just beginners? That's who you're geared towards?
Yeah, these two are definitely beginners. I'll be working on an advanced course next. But if you want to get paid to write, like we started this interview, I had no idea that it was viable both as a career and a side hustle. So when you think about writing for the web, it could be blog posts and magazine articles.
Mm-hmm.
It could be writing copy for websites, things called white papers, press releases, ebooks. It could be ghost written. You could get a byline. Like there's this whole world of opportunity, which you can get started based on like your own career experience or interests. And then the course is very much geared to how to start and grow your business, not how to write.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some formatting information because how I was taught to write in high school and college is different than how you write online. You only use one space after a period or punctuation.
That's so my problem.
You'll get it.
Yep.
Put a little post-it or something, right? And then, you use things called headers, you use short sentences and paragraphs because you really want it to be scannable and readable. And people just don't have a lot of time or high attention spans these days. So there's some formatting stuff in there, but it's very much on like where to find clients. What should your pitch look like? What activities you need to do to be successful. And then the VA course is similar. It's just a different subject, right? So some of the strategies will be similar, but they're completely different courses at the same time. And I do have a little bit more skills-based in the VA. I've actually identified over 125 services that you can offer. We also talked before the recording that virtual assistant is really this like umbrella term, right?
Yes.
So it means you're working virtually, meaning you don't have to be in person, and you're assisting somebody with something that they need done. So you're trading usually time or skills for money. So it can be anything from what people I think like to think of it as data entry, like some mindless activity, to like being literally a marketing consultant or a blog manager or doing social media or email management like I talked about. So there's this just plethora of activities that you could do, and a lot of the times you can repurpose what you already know. The course itself goes deep into social media, email management, and blog management. I have to look if there's another one in there, but I know there's at least those three. And then I include resources to be able to, learn things, and I favor free resources if you're paying to take my course. I try to get you the biggest bang for your buck.
Yep. And then, so do you mostly gear these towards moms, or is it pretty much anybody who's at the beginning should take it?
Yeah, I think you have to have an interest of, starting a freelance business in one of those areas. I have a lot of moms, either stay-at-home or working moms, that have taken it. So that's a large part of my community, but I also have a lot of men. A lot of people are interested in changing careers. Other people are just looking to bring some extra money into your household. So it's varied in that way. You just have to have some skills to start out and a desire to prospect and find clients in order to grow a small business.
Yeah. And then do you have any sort of support? Do you have like a Facebook group or anything for people who take your class?
Yep. There's a private Facebook group associated with each that are pretty active. The writing one even more so, but that one's been around longer, so it's not a surprise. It's bigger, right?
Yeah.
But they're both very, very supportive. People like to help each other, give advice on their websites, or if there's a question about invoicing or sourcing, sources to use for an article or something like that. So that's been my biggest probably joy, is just watching people come around each other. And it's very much, we want to see everybody succeed, and not in a kumbaya fake way. But like they're not seeing each other as competition, and that's my mindset. So I'm going to take full onus on it. No, just kidding. But I do operate under more, not a scarcity mentality, but more like there's opportunity for everybody out there. If you think about how many people are in the world, how many businesses are started every day, how many blogs are started every day, there really is a lot of opportunity. You just have to find kind of the right people to become your clients.
Yeah. What your niche is and what you can offer. Yeah. How about, is there anything else that I'm not asking you about these courses?
I try to make them affordable so that people can, dip their toe, see if it's for them too, because you don't always have to know 100% of what you want. And just like you had talked about earlier, like you had a different business that's really transitioned into supporting what you're doing right now. I think courses can be like that too. So if for some reason you decided not to become a freelance writer, even though you took the course, I bet you that the material is going to help you in a different facet of your career or your life in general. But give it a try. I think it's all fun, and I'm proud of the material that I put out.
Okay. So I will put links to both of your free classes underneath this, and then I'll also put links so you can find out more about the paid classes. But I thought the free classes had a lot of really great information if you just want to find out more about what each class is like and what each job offers.
Yeah, and the material is very representative of the premium versions, which you no pressure. Don't worry about taking those, but you'll get that taste and know whether or not my teaching style is right for you. And I will give you good information that you can use and take action on with again that homework because I love to assign it.
That's perfect. Great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today, and hopefully we can connect again soon.
That sounds like a plan.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.